Fuck you guys. I'm going home.
What is better than NFL draft season? The answer is absolutely nothing. I am Ron Luce, joined this evening by Nick Demao and Danny Meehan. And of course, producer Mr. Quentin Crisco is in the background. He'll pop in and out as we need him throughout the show. We're here to talk linebackers. Building the Board is back. Gentlemen, how are you guys doing? Today's Tuesday. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day. World Baseball Classic Day.
Yeah, it's a great Tuesday.
Yeah, it's good sports day. Good day to finish the day talking about some linebackers and in Chicago tradition. So I'm looking forward to it. Kind of put a punctuation point on, I think, a pretty decent class. So I'm looking forward to going through it with you guys.
100%. Danny, how are you doing?
Are we all looking? I'm good, fellas. Are we all looking forward to being hellaciously wrong in our evals and takes? Because I for one, am so ready.
Yeah,
I can't wait to just look like a buffoon.
Yeah, I'm ready for the Twitter mentions when one of these guys like trips over his feet going to make a tackle. And
right,
but in the spirit of St. Patty's, though, in the spirit of St. Patty's, you got to do it.
There you go.
You got to do it.
Hashtag crack 'em. Love
That's
it.
right.
Absolutely love it. In the spirit of On Tap Sports, I'm partaking on the other side of the aisle, but same but different on this fine Tuesday.
Same but different, but still same.
Yep.
Exactly. I am in the same boat as you guys. I thought I knew a lot about linebacker play, and I watched these guys, and I don't know shit about linebacker play. But guess what? We're going to have a lot of fun going through it.
And thanks for watching. Yeah, everybody have a good night.
Thanks for tuning in, and you guys are all stupid. What are you talking about?
No, but I think we've had great back and forth amongst the Building the Board group over the last couple of days as we prep for this show, and it's just you catch yourself, Nick. You were kind of saying a little bit in the pre-show, right? Like you watch something and you come to your opinions, and then you rewatch something, and then you go, "Wait, did I like?" I feel like I'm seeing something different. And again, that's part of the draft evaluation process.
Sure. Yeah, it's one of those things. Linebackers, when you frame it within the context of the Bears as well, you look at their linebacking group. I know you and I were talking about Devin Bush and where he fits in, whether it's a inside line, like their middle linebacker or their weak side linebacker. And we don't really know now. I think we can kind of assume weak side linebacker, but if they're going to plug them in, that affects a lot of these guys. You can almost cut these names in half depending on where Devin Bush is going to play, because it's going to take off names you would assume from their board. So you watch some guys and then you try to see, okay, well, if Bush is going to be in the middle linebacker, can this guy slide out to weak side or maybe even play Sam? What do we? So
sure,
I think it's a good class. I like this class better than last year, but it's got some variety.
Step over the bar, please.
Yeah, right. Like, I don't know if there's a Danny Stutzman in this class, but fingers crossed, So, but
oh my God, Danny Stutzman.
I'm still waiting for Chris Paul Jr. to step up, but yeah, it's I'm optimistic about the class. I just I'll be curious how the Bears value it in their draft prep and where they're willing to spend a pick. I don't know if they go with their 25th pick, but maybe one of those second rounders if they really like someone. So
100%. I know Q's banging the drum in the background for a Red Raider that we're going to talk a little bit about tonight. And speaking of what we're talking about tonight, Q promptly pulling up. First off, happy Tuesday, everybody. Sup? Hello, Daniel Berry. This is our bracket. So anybody that's been watching these Building the Board so far has seen that this year we're doing things a little bit differently, a little bracket style. And really the concept of this is not necessarily, the one seed's going to win because they're the best player. We know they're the best player. There's ebb and flow room here to pick the guy that we feel like is the best fit for the Chicago Bears as well. So that's what makes this fun. It doesn't mean the one seed's going to win and be the last man standing. They could make it all the way to the end. But again, we're going to have fun with it. And it's up to some loose interpretation when it's all said and done, as Q says here in the comments section.
Also, my favorite 90s band, loose interpretation.
So let's get into it, gentlemen, shall we? We got 4 first-round buys because of the group that we're looking at here. So Arvell Reese, Jacob Rodriguez, CJ Allen, Sonny Styles, all are already on to our bracket, our quote-unquote Elite 8 bracket, we'll call it here, so to speak. So let's highlight that 8 versus 9 matchup to start. Anthony Hill Jr. and Deontae Lawson. So let's start with the Texas product, Anthony Hill Jr. Nick, I'll let you go ahead and lead things. What do you see with Anthony Hill Jr.?
I mean, to me, I feel like this is a no-brainer. If I feel like Anthony Hill Jr. is a dark horse for this entire thing. I really like the length. I like the build. I like the downhill ability. I like the pass rush ability. I think it's 17 sacks. I mean, that's insane for, a linebacker. Deontae Lawson. I know, Danny, you had some thoughts on Deontae that I'll let you share, because I scouted him a bit last year before he decided to go back to Bama. I thought Jihad Campbell was obviously a better prospect than him last year. And then this year, I don't think he really did a lot to elevate him. I thought the Bama linebacking core in general was a little underwhelming. So for me, I like Anthony Hill Jr. of these two. I think, 8-9 is an interest. I feel like Anthony Hill Jr. far above Deontae Lawson, but I'll listen to what you guys have to say.
I just saw who's the lady in the bottom right? What? I'm very confused. Okay.
Agreed. Also confused.
I am embodiment of confusion. To kind of put on Nick's point, I really like Anthony Hill Jr. Like, as I was watching and going through all my notes and revisiting some tape the last few days gearing up for this show, the guy that kind of came to mind when I was watching him actually was a Dennis Allen linebacker pick a few years back from Ohio State in Pete Werner. These long, rangy, kind of well-built, well-put-together linebackers. They're not exactly the most fine-tuned athletes right now or fine-tuned linebackers. It's more like the idea of them. I think the sack production's a bit manufactured. He was blitzed an awful lot. It's not like he was just out here making things happen and running down quarterbacks. It was manufactured from just, here's a delayed blitz and there he is, and he's just cleaning something up. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's production in and of itself, but it's in a way, the saying sometimes figures lie. Like, I think that in a way that figure is a lie. Yes, the sacks count. They're still his sacks, but I don't think he's like some sort of amazing player. Yeah. Amazing sack artist of a player. I love the run and chase ability. I love how long he is. I love how just attack he is. He's not afraid to go mix it up. He's not afraid to stack and shed, get through the garbage, and go find the ball carrier. He does get washed out sometimes because he is a little light in the ass. I think he's 232 pounds or something like that, if my memory serves. I don't have my notes pulled up directly in front of me, but I think he's in that realm. So he's a good football player. I actually tend to agree with Nick. I think he is a dark horse to maybe walk away with this thing as your winner of this bracket, but time will tell. Deontae Lawson, the way what Nick is referring to is in our group chat for this little project we're doing. I referred to him as cracked out with Ray Charles, in that he's coming with reckless abandon. He's trying really hard. He is bringing the thunder. He has no idea where the hell he's going, but he's coming. Now, both the same thing can be said where Hill can get fooled on misdirections and things like play action and things like that. But when I tell you Deontae Lawson feels like it's a total guess and shot in the dark every time the ball is snapped, that's what it feels like. He's a good football player, I think, if you can get him to kind of calibrate himself and even just become mildly aware of what's going on around him. But I don't know that he knows what the hell's going on. It kind of is like DJ Giddens playing running back last year, where DJ Giddens was just doing stuff. I think Deontae Lawson's kind of just, it's like you know how they say some talented basketball players just roll the ball out? I think sometimes Deontae just puts the helmet on, like, okay, time to go play. Like, all right. And I'm not trying to shit on Deontae Lawson. I actually think he's got some attributes and there's things worth talking about. But golly, man, like, do you know what's happening at any given point? Or is it just like, well, we'll see what happens this rep?
Yeah, it's a lot of just trying to play with instinct and just fly to an area and see what happens with Lawson.
But there is no instinct.
It's tough too, because you're not betting on a guy from like a JUCO program and hoping that at the next level with proper coaching. I mean, he was at Alabama, like he's a multi-year starter at Alabama. So I mean, you can assume he's getting.
Wasn't he a team captain too?
He
was a team captain.
I think he was last year. I'd have to go back and look. I assume.
Better question, given what we've said, was he aware that he was a team captain?
Yeah.
Perhaps not.
Yeah. I think he has good play strength. Like at the line of scrimmage, I've seen him, but yeah, he's
fat. It's actually funny. I think you actually mentioned he reminds you of Alex Anzalone, and that's actually really spot on because the two comps we've now brought up of actual like players are two Dennis Allen people for two very different reasons. And right. Anzalone's had a good career, but Anzalone, I know, offends Quentin's sensibilities just because he's just never going the right way. It's like same thing, like, oh, maybe this time.
Yeah.
Maybe this time it'll be right. No, I think I'm in agreement with you guys on everything that you said. I think with Anthony Hill Jr., I look at a player that's like, he's not quite a finished product yet. And I think that's why he's such an intriguing piece. The length, the size screams Dennis Allen fit, in my opinion. I think the Pete Werner comp is a fantastic mention in terms of what DA likes in his linebackers playing in the middle and what they're able to do. I really am intrigued by him. And I know a lot of people have been he's been going in the third round in a lot of mocks. I think that'd be incredible value if he's able to get to the Bears.
I think a 2.5. I think I have him as a 2.5 right now.
Yeah.
Which is basically saying end of 2, early 3.
Yeah. And so that way, if he's getting to 89, I mean, that's spectacular for the Bears if that ends up being the case.
But before we move on, I'm not trying to like drag this out, but here to kind of Nick's point about this, he's your will if you're picking him. I don't really want him playing Mike.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I agree. So I think
I just don't know what the plan is with Devin Bush.
Right.
Yeah. That is like, I don't know, going to the next bracket, like it's kind of funny because like if they are looking for a Sam, I kind of feel like, I mean, I like Jake Golday as a linebacker in general, but like he is a guy that I think you could put at Sam on day one in their sub packages if they wanted to. I don't think he's not Hunter Hillenmeyer in the sense of like that's where he would be relegated to for his career. But if you're looking at instant impact guys from this draft that like you can draft and start immediately outside of some of the big names we'll be discussing later, if you're looking for those maybe third round, second, third round guys that you won't have to season on the bench, because it is going to be weird. Like I think Devin Bush is kind of a like wrench in the gears, so to say, because I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if because I know we talked about, I know Danny brought up a great point about how, Dennis Allen wants his middle linebacker to be the general of the defense, be the green dot, wear the green dot, get everyone in control. And Devin Bush didn't do that in Cleveland. The Carson Schwessinger did, the rookie. So it's, and Devin Bush has been in the league for 6-7 years now. So I don't know if he's going to have that same, I don't know if Dennis Allen will give him that responsibility. So then it is kind of, are you banking on TJ Edwards coming back? And then you're talking about these guys sort of as drafting them to redshirt for a year, kind of get situational looks. So it is.
So are we in agreement that just that Hill is moving on to face off against Arvell Reese in the second round?
Yes.
100%. 100%. Well said. And Nick, I mean, you kind of started talking a little bit about Jake Golday. So Continue.
Yeah, I mean, athletic freak. I think he was on. Who's the guy that does the freak list? Bruce. I can't
Bruce
remember his
Feldman.
name. Okay, Bruce Feldman. That's what I wanted to say, and I couldn't remember that was his actual name. But yeah, I mean, Jake Golday is a really good athlete. Does not have the smoothest change of direction, but they kind of played him in a weird. He played that like what is that, overhang linebacker? So it was kind of a weird. He played in that tunnel between like the slot and the line. So interesting position to watch him play, but I think that Cincinnati did that on purpose because they were trying to limit big plays. And this guy, he's got the size to just naturally get in passing lanes. 6'4". I think he was a defensive end when he started. So he's a guy, like I said, of all these guys, I mean, I think he's a guy that you could start at Sam linebacker if the Bears needed someone to replace Noah Sewell, who can bring a little pass rushing edge and also kind of cover. I think he would be a player that could play that. I don't know if you want to take someone like that in the second round. I think he's moving up draft boards. So it's kind of, you know, what
I think he's going to go pretty high. I do.
Yeah, I think
he tested well. By all accounts, he's like a tremendous kid by all accounts. Like I would venture a guess of if he were to hypothetically be used with like the 57th pick or something like that, you'd be seeing him play at Mike almost probably day one. You'd live with the problem. You'd probably live with the growing pains and figure it out. I think he's a little stiff in the hips. Like he runs and moves well, but I think it's because he's just so twitched up and big that he's just gonna, by nature of being that big and strong. Not everyone is Brian Urlacher or even Tremaine Edmonds, who just left here, where they're just such smooth, good athletes at their size. Like that's a rarity. Like, and Tremaine Edmonds, I'm famous for dogging him because be built like that, move like that, and just be contacted adverse as they come. You know, that guy just does not want to hit things. Golday doesn't have a problem with wanting to hit things. Like he'll come downhill and he'll thump you. He's got good sideline to sideline ability. I think when I saw him, I didn't think he was going to test as well as he did. Like he struck me as for lack of better terminology, if you want to go really lame scout terms, I thought he was a good, not great athlete on tape. And then he ran. And I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Well, there goes everything. I mean, I think it's still clear that he's kind of new to the position. He'll get lost in the shuffle here sometimes. But the ability to cover just by virtue of the fact that he's huge is there. I just, with some of his limitations in terms of stiffness, and I don't know if he'll ever be a true great coverage linebacker outside of the fact that he's just in the way, which that's plenty. Like you can be in the way and be decent in coverage. I just wonder how high his ceiling is, or if you're just getting a guy who's merely very good. And I say that like if you're getting very good in the second round, that's a hell of a pick. But I just wonder when you're talking about a guy who everyone seems to be fawning over his RAS and athletic traits at this point.
Yeah, well, it's a tricky position too, because you know, when you start talking about spending a second round pick on a guy that's a off ball linebacker, how, you know, what is that player's like? If you look at the free agent linebackers that's still available, you know, if Jake Golday's ceiling is somewhat capped, you don't want to put a second round pick on that where you can go sign a guy for $5 million a year who can theoretically give you the same stuff he can, and you can use that draft pick on a more important position of need, like a defensive tackle or a defensive end. So it's as far as roster construction, linebackers kind of in that tricky spot where it's like, I think you can go through and look at all the limitations of some of these guys and say, you know, with the cost of line, I mean, somehow Tremaine Edmonds is still getting like $13 million a year, but you know, overall, you look at the linebacking, you know, the contracts for linebackers, and they're not out of this world. So for Jake Golday, is he someone that can, you know, is he a guy that's here for his 4 years and then he moves on, and then you just kind of, you know,
and I don't want it to sound like I'm dooming him to being just like a journeyman linebacker who just signs 1 or 2 year deal after 1 or 2 year deal. Like I'm just saying, like I do wonder if maybe the ceiling is capped based on some of the the flaws I saw, where he is still newer to the position. He is kind of stiff. You're basically banking on him figuring a lot of things out in a short amount of time for a guy who does have some inabilities, even though I think his ability to run sideline to sideline, scrape through traffic. He's not afraid of stacking and shedding and getting downhill and triggering and really just kind of making running backs pay when they come near him. Like, he does not let you just run by him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not there's a lot of running, especially of recent vintage. I feel like linebackers have defaulted a lot to arm tackling, where these guys are 6'3", 220, and effectively just big safeties playing linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
That's not Jake Golday. Jake Golday is a big man.
Yeah.
Ron, what are your thoughts on this? I'm kind of curious where you stand.
No, I think you bring up a great point in the sense of I enjoy athletic freaks at positions where you can hide the lack of knowledge for the position. So to me, on defense, that's typically, maybe your Sam linebacker. That's typically maybe
defensive tackle.
Maybe a D tackle, especially like a one technique who you're just asking to, eat up blocks. Sometimes a defensive end, especially if they're like a pass rush specialist, right? There's certain elements where they can be not totally in the loop on what's happening per se in terms of the mental side and get away with it. I think Jake Golday is a nice pick, but to your guys' point, are you willing to spend a second rounder on a guy who's probably only going to play about 40% of the snaps? I don't think so. And I would have reservations of a player that's new to the position because to me, especially knowing what Dennis Allen wants to do in his defense with his linebackers, those guys have to be smart. They have to understand spacing, where to be in coverage. And for a guy that, as you guys have both kind of said in different ways, gets lost in the shuffle sometimes, that would be a concern to me. Now, that being said, I think he's a better physical freak than his oppressor here in the 12 slot. And Obiazor, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Q, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Please correct. Namei Obiazor, I think.
Obiazor.
Is that how you say
it? Obiazor. Okay.
Google. Is that French?
But no, I think with
go ahead.
I think with Obiazor too, like I feel like both of these guys share in a lot of the same flaws. Like, I don't think either one of them are great necessarily in terms of pass coverage, but to your guys' point, right, with Golday, he's just so big, he's inevitably going to take up space, which I think gives him a slight edge just because of the physical traits. But really, I think if we're looking at these guys, like they both are more downhill linebackers. They're more run fill type guys. I feel like there's a lot of these type of guys in this draft. Am I wrong?
No, I think
no, I don't think so. I think that's the product of what the league is becoming, though. What the league has trended towards the last 3 or 4 years.
Sure.
It's also, these are guys who Sean McVay will schedule a game plan to pick on. So you want to hope that that's kind of the double-edged sword where it's like, do you want to spend a second round pick on a guy who plays 40% of the snaps? I don't want him to play 80% of the snaps against Sean McVay, until he gets better, but it's, if the Bears were in a position where they could really, they could afford, I think, to draft a player like Golday and let him sit for to learn the position. Or if he was more of a fluid athlete in coverage to where he could flip his hips and I think with his limitations just in coverage or I don't even know if I'd say in cover, because like he's just, like Danny said, his size alone will make him a wall for quarterbacks for passing lanes.
He's going to be good in coverage by virtue of the fact that he's a good athlete and he's going to get in the way. He's just going to take away passing lanes because he's enormous.
Yeah.
But to kind of touch on Namdi, Ron mentioned it. He will come down till, I think his issue is going to be he'll trigger and he'll come with some thunder based on the game I could find of him, but he's a little slow to trigger. It's like he has to recognize it in front of him. Like he doesn't necessarily like he doesn't see it develop, and he's coming as it's developing, which is what the best ones do. And that's a hard ask of a lot of guys. That's not what I'm saying, but like it feels like everything's a hair late. It feels like for a guy who his best instinct is run fit, he'll get washed out a lot by tight ends or pulling guards. Like he's just, and I think that's a product of being a step late. If you're letting them set and the blocking scheme come to you versus disrupt the blocking scheme as the linebacker, which is what you're supposed to do, you're going to get pushed away. A 260-pound tight end is going to push a smaller linebacker out of the way. A 300-pound offensive guard is going to move you unless you're one of these rare special athletes. I have an undrafted grade on him, Nnamdi. Like it is what it is. I watched a game of him based on what I could find. It's not a fair grade. I'm not going to sit here and defend it and say like I've watched all these snaps of him. I've watched a good amount of Golday. I'm comfortable saying he's an easy second-round pick in my eyes, even with the flaws. Where I admit it does sound like we're kind of shitting on Jake Golday, and that's not the case.
I know. Well, like recontextualize this. Like I like Jake Golday. I think he's a good linebacker. Like I would not be upset if the Bears drafted him. And I mean, we're going to go down this list, and there's going to be players who, I mean, CJ Allen, in my opinion, is a guy too that has issues in coverage.
I am not the guy to talk about with CJ Allen. I'm not a fan.
Yeah. So, I mean, don't make it sound like I'm not looking at Jake Golday and being like, oh my gosh, they are going to draft one of these like 90s era linebackers, like Barry Minter with the big neck brace that like all he can do is like be a thumper. And then, he'll get a healthy dose of CTE and go and retire. Like, I think he can be a good player. For what the Bears need, I don't know if he's a fit for what they need. So I think there's another team that will take a chance and probably fall in love with him. But like to contextualize it within the Bears, I mean, obviously I think he's far and away above Obiazor, pronunciation to be determined. I'm sorry, Nnamdi, if you're watching the show, that's a unique name. But yeah, Jake Golday's fine.
I apologize if you're watching the show and my compadre saying you suck.
Yeah, please give us a like. Please give us a like. Tell your friends. I'm in the same, but I think, he could be a special teamer. Maybe spot start like Amen Ogban, the guy that started with
Bamiga.
Yeah, Bamiga. Yeah, Golday could carve his way into the league and have a really solid role for several years and be a starter. For the Bears, it's tricky.
Yeah, and to your point, really quick, guys, because I think we all agree that Golday's the prospect here, and we'll keep moving along to keep the bracket filling out. But the point of us doing this is to critique these players as if we are scouts, right? We are going to go into their flaws, even if we like the player. Like every player you like has flaws. Just wait until the running back episode that we do later tonight. That's a shameless plug because we encourage everybody to come back to that one. Danny and I might get
going to be a lot of
so,
it's
just
going to be so bad.
We'll have to see what happens, but it's going to be fun. But that's the point of this, right? We have to dig into these guys in the full. And to your guys' point, like Jake Golday might become a great NFL player, but as you said, Nick, if we contextualize this in the sense of the Bears, how do they fit? And we see other guys that fit a little bit better. We'll continue moving. Jacob Rodriguez, one of our top seeds here, so he gets a bye onto the next round. We've got Josiah Trotter, and we've got Justin Jefferson, another Alabama linebacker. Gentlemen, I'll open the floor to you guys. I know you guys have done a lot more deep dive with these guys.
I'm just going to apologize for even recommending Justin Jefferson. I just want to apologize to
that's a tough look, Nick. He's awful.
I respect all of your time, and I'm making enemies. I hope Justin Jefferson, the receiver, is great. The linebacker needs a lot of work. I've never seen a linebacking prospect fall over trying to give hugs to tackle as much as Justin. He's got a lot of work.
His feet are in cement, Nick. It is in cement.
It is one of those things. Like when I go through the scouting process, I go through and I kind of look through lists. I kind of get an idea of the class. And Justin Jefferson was one of these guys. And I was like, I was looking, like my first instinct was like, I'm trying to find Demario Davis. Okay. Justin Jefferson is not Demario Davis. So don't misconstrue what I'm saying, but I'm looking at guys of similar builds, and I don't know how Nnamdi, like when I saw Nnamdi was ranked below him, I was kind of shocked because Like I mentioned earlier when we talked about Deontae Lawson, the okay, we can move on to another player, but like, yeah, it was just
Okay.
Justin Jefferson was I think undrafted, late day 3 is probably Josiah Trotter would run through him like he's run through other
Why
offensive
is Q
players to get to the
chiming
ball
in?
carrier.
I don't understand why Q is here. Go away.
I switched him to Bryce Bocher because I want to hear Danny's thoughts on Bryce.
Oh no. Okay, let me go find my notes, Q. I didn't have these ones ready.
I will quickly say while you're getting those pulled up, Danny, when it comes to Josiah Trotter, there's bloodline here. And I'm always willing to trust the bloodline with and somewhere, whether it's early day 3, late day 2 type pick, probably more so early day 3 for Trotter, but his brother, Jeremiah Jr., really good player coming out of college. Obviously, their dad was an all-pro. One of the guys I grew up watching when he was the middle linebacker for the Eagles back in the day. I'm willing to trust guys that are strong like that and have that pedigree and have that nose for the ball. Like, to me, that's what Trotter is. He's got kind of that, again, really good in the run, downhill. Again, that's a lot of these linebackers that we're covering in this year's draft. And I'll tell you what, I also like to see what other people say. And I'm trying to get better about not taking it into my own thoughts, because I have talked myself out of players before because of what other people say. And then I ended up being right.
Well, let me tell you about Justin Jefferson, Ron.
Let me tell you about this guy.
Hey,
but I will say,
here's the guy.
Here's the guy. I will say, I think it's interesting though with Trotter. He is considered by Lindy's, one of the publications, Lindy Sports, that comes out every year. They do a whole bunch of sports as their sleeper pick of this group. And I think that's fascinating. And again, I'm drawn to, I hear the Trotter name and I'm like, those are good genes. Those are good genes. That's the type of guy I'd be willing to make a bet on.
And like,
especially when
I definitely think Jeremiah looks his son, Jeremiah Jr. and Josiah, and he goes, wrong kid got the junior name. Because I think Josiah is a better prospect than his brother.
Josiah is a lot better.
Yeah, anyway, not to disparage Jeremiah.
No, you can disparage him. He's slow and bad. It's fine.
Yeah, I definitely think if you want
Jeremiah Jr., please don't hunt me down and beat me up. I'm scared.
I know we're making a lot of enemies with men that could run through me and evaporate me like the juggernaut. But Jeremiah, Josiah reminds me a lot more of Jeremiah just as a player, just as somewhat a violent downhill linebacker. I think he moves well. I've seen some speculate he might start as a will in the league because he can move well in space. I think he could play Mike. So he's got that versatility. I think.
What's interesting is when Q flips out a bum for a guy, I actually really enjoyed his tape. I could make the argument this is an 11-6 upset that could happen. And will you guys allow me the floor to plead my case?
Hey,
please do.
I like Josiah. Full disclosure, Josiah has a higher grade for me than Bryce Bocher. Bryce Bocher was a 2-sport star athlete growing up. He was drafted in the 2024 MLB draft. Baseball players have great coordination, hand-eye, and obviously because you have to, watch the things. I thought I
recognized that name because of the MLB draft. I'm glad you said that.
And to that point, he's a very coordinated man. He doesn't end up on the floor a lot. He is not easily fooled. His eyes tell him what he sees, and he reacts. He triggers. He sifts through the garbage. He stacks. He sheds. He comes with thunder. If the snap is the lightning, that's the lightning before the thunder arrives, is what I'll say. To quote, remember the Titans, that's a bad white boy is what that is. He's I wish I thought he was a better athlete. I don't have his testing numbers in front of me, but Bryce is a hell of a linebacker. He's a little small. He's only 6'1". He's about 235 pounds. He's not the biggest guy you're going to find, but that doesn't really seem to slow him up. He's, like I said, he'd be a lot higher if I felt he was moving and running like a Josiah. Like Josiah is fast, and you can see it on tape. Bryce sometimes looks like he's just a merely fine athlete, and I don't want that to sound like bad. His instincts, well, like I said, he's coming with thunder. He doesn't necessarily get lost. It's hard to fool him with misdirections and play action. He doesn't come flying, biting down like Deontae Lawson or play action, and he's in the A gap while the tight end is running down the seam with him. Like, oh my God, where'd he go? But I really think if you get him, you're at the very least getting a rotational linebacker who's going to be a star on special teams. He's just a solid linebacker. And maybe this is just me opining for the years of the 2000s where it's like everyone had to have, 4 linebackers in order to play football that were viable. Like people forget, like the 4th linebacker at the end days of those Lovie Smith teams was Nick Roach, spelling Hunter Hillenmeyer.
Mm-hmm.
Like these Nick Roach was a good football player. Was he spectacular? No, but he was good.
Good enough to earn a really nice contract with the Raiders when he left.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I would sit here and tell you, I think if I pull it up, I think it's a 4.5, around 4.5. I don't have the numbers in front of me for our spreadsheet that we use, but I have my round grades. 4.5 means end of 4 at top of 5.
See, that's interesting.
Bryce,
go ahead. Sorry. I was just going to say, I was just going to ask what round grade you had on him, because that's where I think you can see an upset like this, where I'd be on board if we just got those comp picks for Ian Cunningham, end of round 3, a guy like Bryce.
Am I right? Am I number there? 6.71, which would put him at
the anticipation.
Killing me.
Is killing me.
Yeah. Okay. Role player, 4th round. Yeah.
So 4th round. Okay. So
yeah,
I think Bryce Boettcher is going to make a team very happy. He's going to be a coach's pet. He understands the game. I don't think he's the most instinctual player, but I think when he sees it, he knows it. So he's going to be a step late. He's going to get washed out of some plays. But I think you've got a really nice football player on your hands, and it just sucks that his matchup is now Josiah Trotter, who I just think is a better version of him, because I don't think either of them are very good in coverage. But I could make the argument that Bryce Boettcher, in the right system, given the right time of day kind of thing, he's a good football player, man, and he's going to make a team very happy. But Josiah Trotter is moving on regardless.
Yeah, but it's an interesting conversation, because it all kind of comes back to Golday. Is Bryce Boettcher a guy that you could draft? Do the Bears have a 4th round pick this year, or did they traded that, didn't they?
Oh no, I'm sorry, they do have a 4th rounder.
They do. Okay,
they have.
Yeah, you could draft a guy like Bryce, and he could play Sam linebacker for you. It sounds like, at least, and you could get that.
I would honestly, given his understanding and how smart I believe him to be, you might just live with the growing pains and throw him at Mike if you're going to do the will linebacker thing with Devin Bush.
Right. Because I mean,
maybe I'm wrong, guys. I'm not sitting here saying I'm some savant. I just go off of what I watch and see.
Sure.
Well, because I think with Josiah Trotter, it is one of those things. Like, if you're going to draft him, and he is a will,
Josiah's a Mike.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, then I mean, I like some other guys as Mike a little bit more than. I mean, if we're talking strictly Mike's, like, I see the logic. I definitely think, for the Bears and the discussion we're having, if you can get a guy 2 rounds later who could be a viable starter at a position that I think is of need, but you have other positions more needy, is that worth moving that guy on? Like, I mean, that's kind of, I guess, the discussion.
Q, did I satisfy your itch? Did I scratch your little brain there, jerk?
And we are all out on Justin Jefferson, just to be clear. Okay.
All out. No, and I you know what? I'll tell you what. I think this matchup, though, to your guys' point, and that's the beauty of it. I think we can take this in the context of how does this play for the Bears, because, to me, I think both of these guys are probably 4th round picks. Maybe Trotter finds a way to sneak into the 3rd round somehow if there's a team that's just really desperate and maybe falls in love with him.
I see,
man.
But I think they're both. I think they're both day 3 guys, right? So. Okay. To me, right? Like, I think this went from with Justin Jefferson.
Golly.
I think this went from being, how do I put this? I think this went from being the 6-11 matchup where the 6 just blows the 11 out of the water and they move on to This is a tight game down in, late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
There's a 3-point spread here with about 3 minutes left.
Yeah.
Because I think you guys bring up great points, right? Trotter is probably the better version of him, but if we're talking the value for the Bears, does Bryce maybe take the cake because of that? Because he's a guy they can get on day 3 that can still satisfy a need that you might have. Maybe you do sign a veteran that can kind of be that backup Mike right now. You also still have DeMarco Jackson in the fold, who I know is probably more of a Will than a Mike, but is there, right?
God, Mike from Beverly is going to love Bryce Boecher. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm cool with moving, but I'll full disclosure, I haven't watched a ton of film on Boecher, so I'm taking Danny's word for it. But you
can watch him and tell me how stupid I am.
No, because okay, so I know Ron, you said you kind of had him as a day 3, but see, I had lumped together. I had Trotter, Golday, Rodriguez.
I have Trotter
Anthony
going firmly in round 2.
Yeah, I have them all kind of lumped together in that round 2 cluster, like in that tier. I think,
but I get why you wouldn't like him. He's not good in coverage. He's just not.
Yeah,
and I also not a good coverage player.
And in fairness, gentlemen, like I also, and maybe this is just the joking, the GM Ron nerd in me, I also understand how the league values linebackers, and a lot of times with draft capital, unless teams really fall in love with guys, guys have a tendency to slip based on whether or not their grades agree. Look at Schlesinger. I think he's a great example in Cleveland. The guy balled out like he should have been a first-round pick, and I think most people probably would have sat there and told you he should have been a first-round pick. But because he played off-ball linebacker, he was taken early on day 2.
Dude,
he was also old, though. He was old.
Sure.
There were some last year. I remember Q and me talking last year. Q, what did we have on Schlesinger? He was like a footnote when we talked about him because he was this weird, it's like hybrid safety kind of player.
Dude was 225 pounds.
Yeah.
And the entire question with his tape was, can this guy do this at the NFL level?
It would be like
he hold up at the NFL level.
It'd be like Kyle Lewis. I mean, like it's like a player of Kyle Lewis's size going at like the top of the second and then winning like defensive rookie of the year or something. Like, it was a weird. It was one of those things where I think Schlesinger was a better linebacking prospect, but I mean, similar sizes where you're just like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. So,
and I'll tell you what, I'm willing to pull the 11-6 upset here. For the sake of
I think let's go for it. Let's just see.
Do you want to? Did I turn the room?
I think you turned the room, Danny. Well done, sir. Well done. Good job, Danny.
Look,
let's go, baby.
You sell me. I get sold because I genuinely think I'm very curious where linebacker is on the Bears big board. And I think if you can get a guy,
I think it's lower than you think because I think they're going to go heavy on defensive line.
I do too, and that's where I'm thinking. If you're telling me you can get a guy in the 4th round that you can realistically see a long-term role.
Do you guys know what's going to happen with this? If Boecher were to get picked by the Bears, I'm going to be obligated to buy a jersey of his.
You're gonna have to be the president of the fan club, whether you like it or not.
Okay. See, this next matchup isn't fair because these are two guys I'm way higher on Kyle Lewis than consensus, and Kaleb Elarms-Orr is just fun as hell. I don't know that he necessarily knows what he's doing right now. And it's the same thing. I could destroy Deontae Lawson for it, but one's at Bama, one's at TCU. These two are not created the same kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we? Go ahead. Someone else start. I've been talking too much.
No, that's okay. I was going to say, I really like Kyle Lewis is a very intriguing prospect because, like I said, what is he, 5'10", 225 or something like that? I got to look it up. He's
5'11", 220 is what
5'11", 220, but he was one of these guys that just kind of shone at the Senior Bowl, and I think that really boosted his draft stock. And great coverage guy. I don't know if looking ahead, I don't know if I take him, I don't take him over Sonny Styles, but it's an interesting story because to bring back Carson Schlesinger, we talked about a little bit in the chat we had about how linebackers seem to be kind of getting back to that smaller frame where, it used to be like a 6'1" linebacker was undersized, and now that's kind of like it's moved down a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyle Lewis is a bit of an outlier, like 5'10", 5'11", but
He's just a little guy.
Yeah, I definitely think you saw his athleticism really shine at the Senior Bowl. I think it would depend on how creative Dennis Allen is willing to get with his linebackers. And I don't know. He's not a guy who I think the linebackers kind of do the Yalman's work in his. I think he wants them to be creative with like how he's going to bring pressure with them. But I don't know if he's one of these really like mad scientist coaches that you're going to see him do a lot of intricate stuff with a player like Kyle Lewis. But I think he's a fun player. I think both are fun players. But yeah, I
agreed. I think the thing with
and
Kyle
something
Lewis,
about Pitt sorry.
No, you're good.
No, I was just saying. So for some reason, Pitt Panther defenders just do something for me. Like I don't know why. Like maybe it's the jersey with like the bright yellow helmet and like the royal blue jersey. But for some reason, like it just maybe it's like my flavor of like whatever mentally is wrong with me and why I dedicate so much time to the stupid NFL draft.
Your flavor of football ice cream.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And
it's a good
I just like watching that team play football. They're not good. I just like watching them.
Yeah. No, and I totally get that.
Anyway.
And I'll tell you what, I think with Kyle Lewis, if Kyle Lewis was in like the 2011 NFL draft, I think people are much more excited about him. And the reason I say that is because that was the era that the NFL started to spread out. And as a guy who's kind of a hybrid safety, can really cover, on probably tight ends and even maybe some slot receivers, especially back at that time, right? Slot receivers were a little bigger back in 2011, 2012.
Right.
I think Kyle Lewis was primed and built for that era of football. But I fear that we're watching the NFL transition back into the tight bunch because of how light these linebackers have become, to your guys' points. So that kind of scares me with a player like Kyle Lewis. I think he does a lot of good things. Like I don't think he's a totally useless NFL player by any means. I think he could still have a good career and be a contributor in the linebacking position, maybe be a really good special teamer as well, to have some creative kind of packages for him. But when I hear, when I look at a guy who does just physically looks like a hybrid safety more so than a linebacker, when Ben Johnson and Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan are trotting out 13 and 22 personnel on a regular basis, I get a little concerned at what he's going to be able to do long-term at the NFL level. Now, granted, if we're going the 7-10 matchup here, I still like Kyle Lewis more so than I like Elarms-Orr. But I think, again, just as I'm thinking about these guys and what I see from this class, like it's very distinct that there's a really high-level group of guys in this class and then a lot of guys that all kind of fall in the same range because they have a lot of concerns. And that, for me, that's the biggest thing with Lewis is just I almost wish he came out of the draft 15 years earlier because we'd all be sitting here like, well, how do you cover all these teams going to
then
spread
he'd also
offense?
be like
Get him out
6.
there.
Can't
I
do
understand.
that. Child labor laws.
I think he's just maybe a little bit behind his time in the sense of just where the NFL is going, and this is just
I
me
think
projecting
with where it's going. Yeah, and I think you're right with where it's going versus where it's been. Even 6 years ago, he feels a lot better.
Yes.
Right now, he's just where I'll contend that he's different. He's not fucking like Mark Barron or Deon Buchanan trying to play linebacker when the league was trying to get smaller. He is a linebacker. He's just small. Mm-hmm. But guys, he comes in on run fits. He knows where he's going. He's in control. He patrols the back behind the defensive line, and he knows where he wants to get to. He's a really good, solid linebacker, and I can sit here. I got all my negatives in front of me. You know what they almost all come back to? He's small.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how many different ways can you say, well, he gets eaten up by guards at the second level. Oh, tight ends will push him around. Like, yeah, he's small.
He's tiny. He's miniature. He's not as tall as the other guys.
For a player like that? Oh, go ahead.
No, what I will say is one of the bigger things for as good as he is at triggering, and I think he will have runs where he will like absolutely take over a defensive game plan. Where it's like, that old school feeling in the mid-aughts where it's like a linebacker just ruins a defensive game plan. Urlacher did it. Ray Lewis would do it. London Fletcher. Pick your 2000s linebacker who would just take an offensive game plan and rip it up. Luke Kuechly, even in the 2010s, where he apparently just had every team's playbook in his back pocket. Like, he had moments like that, but he also had like the total opposite where it's like when he made a mistake, it felt like it would snowball on him. And it's like he couldn't get out of his own way. Mm-hmm. And he also does have trouble with RPOs time to time. But I think RPOs are such a kind of thing to worry about because who at the NFL level is like doing those with significant regularity? No one, because it's going to get your quarterback killed. Like,
do you see so Kyle Lewis, last year, Nick Demao was a converted linebacker playing safety, and then he gets drafted to the Seahawks, and Mike McDonald is using him like a chess piece on the way to the Super Bowl. I mean, do you see Kyle Lewis as a linebacker in the NFL, or is he someone,
Yeah, he's going to have to. He's not near athletic enough to do what Demao did.
To be like a big nickel or something like that. He's just not.
Yeah. Do you want him to be a dime backer? I think that takes away his ability.
Yeah, exactly.
That guy's probably I think you're taking what makes him special, which is like Carson Schwetzinger, and again, I'm not saying he's Carson's a better football player than Kyle Lewis is, but I don't know. I feel like I'm the guy. I like guys that can run fit, and I like old school linebackers. But Kyle Lewis just plays linebacker well. Mm-hmm. It just sucks that he's 2 inches short and 30 pounds light or 20 pounds light. Yeah. Because I totally agree with what Ron is saying in that it feels like he was meant for the wrong era. Like he just got here too late, and as we're coming into the tighter formation. Bigger running backs are coming. Look at the size of the running backs right now. They're all getting big and strong again. Like
we talk about Kyle Lewis like he's a Shakespearean tragedy. Born in the wrong era.
Hey, but he plays linebacker as eloquent as a Shakespearean tragedy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like we're writing his eulogy. He was just born at the wrong time.
Hear ye. Here lies Kyle Lewis. 10 years past his time.
I know Nick has mentioned a couple times the idea of a Sam. I actually think to start, because I think he's still pretty raw at the linebacker position or at high level linebacking, is Kaleb Elarms-Orr. I think he's got a lot of talent. And I honestly didn't even watch him until I watched the scouting combine. And it was the bag drill where they then take off and pick up the football and like have to score the loose football. Mm-hmm. And it was like, that dude moves different. Like he wasn't clunky. It wasn't like forced. It didn't look like he even like a lot of these guys, obviously they train for these specific drills, right?
Right.
It looked like that's just a guy who plays football and this is normal to him. Like this ability to pick his feet up, change directions, flip his hips, grab the football and just finish. Like, I don't necessarily know that he's a great football player just yet, but I know he's fast as hell. For being 6 foot, he's 235 pounds. That's a pretty, put together person at that size.
Yeah.
I like that he is like people laugh when you say like not every 6 foot 235 is built the same. He's a really like tightly wound, densely built 235 pounds. So I think that he's built to withstand the test of some of the rigors of the NFL season. So I think he's got good fluidity. He bends well. He gets there with thunder. I think he's a good blitzer probably because he is just so damn athletic. I just don't know that with his instincts the way they are, I think he disappears at times on film. I think he really just needs to be better aware of what's going on snap to snap. Like he doesn't feel totally lost. Like I felt like poor Deontae Lawson did.
Oh,
but he just
put a different guy in Deontae Lawson's spot. Give him the Justin Jefferson treatment.
Like I would pick between these two because I have Luce firmly in round 3. I have Elarms-Orr in round 5. I think if you're looking for a guy who's going to be a difference maker right away, Elarms-Orr is probably not your player, but he's a nice project later down the line. I would put Kyle Lewis going forward, but Elarms-Orr, if you can buy that, you can maybe teach him with better NFL coaching, like Dennis Allen and God, what's the linebacker coach's name? Like I trust the Bears coaching staff to maybe take a more raw ball of clay that is Kaleb Elarms-Orr and maybe develop him down the line, but you might have to be a little bit patient.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I mean,
give him the Ruben Hippolyte treatment. Let him season for a couple of years.
Ruben Hippolyte sucked. He played 1,000 snaps at Maryland and didn't do anything. I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm done.
You opened the can of worms.
Yeah. You started with
Richard Pawpaw Smith is the Bears.
Is that like two
Coach
bear
Pawpaw.
paws, or is that like a grandpa? Pawpaw.
He's like grandpa. He's like 100 years old.
Yeah, he's been around. He's been around for a minute.
Before we move on to round 2, I do want to. Are we moving Lewis along?
Yeah, I think Lewis is probably.
I know Q chimed in, but then we kind of cut him off. Did you enjoy Bryce Bocher, Q?
I did. I really did. I was glad that Nick went so against Justin Jefferson so quickly because I was like, I want some Bryce Bocher.
Dude, I dug into the film with Jefferson and I was like, oh, I've made a terrible mistake. That meme Job from Arrested Development or whatever. I was like, this I mentioned him and Deontae Lawson, and I was like, ooh, tough look.
Like, it's a rough stretch there, buddy.
Yeah. So I just, I went to bed last night thinking, and I was like, how can I ask this question without totally crapping on the guy? And there's really just no way of answering, but I was like, where do you separate? Where's the line you draw between a guy who's raw and a guy who just sucks? And I was like, I think I found it, and I think it's Justin Jefferson. And I'm really sorry, Justin. Again, you're a fan of the show. Tell your friends at Bama. Tell the friends who you're going to be selling insurance with next year. Tell them to watch us. But like, I don't know, man.
Jesus.
I guess I expected more from an Alabama linebacker. So when I dug into the film, I was like,
the other thing here's the thing. This was bait too. Q knew I was going to take the bait because he knows me and what I like. This was fucking bait, and I don't appreciate it because I knew it was going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
Guilty as charged.
Hugh knows the buttons to push for most all of us that have shared a microphone with him. It's genuinely
absolutely
impressive.
Bullshit. Like, oh, Danny likes guys that come down with authority and know where they're at on the field. I'm gonna just here's some chum, dum. Just here you go.
And then we all ate it up because we put it.
Literally. We literally said, you know what? 11 beats 6.
Yeah, you know what? Hey,
like, you know what? Danny's right. Fuck these guys.
Yeah. If you guys are in any sort of pyramid schemes, I am the best person to buy into ones. If you want to sell me some Avon makeup or whatever, just bring it to my house.
I got a bridge in Nebraska for you.
Yeah.
Electric. Absolutely electric. Gentlemen, I think this is a good time. We're on to the Elite 8, and we'll start from the very top. We already know what Anthony Hill Jr. is. I think we all know what Arvell Reese is too. What a weapon X.
Yeah, I mean Arvell Reese, I think you could argue is the best player in the draft. I think I've seen that argument made.
Nope.
I don't think there's a snowball's
Top
chance in
5
hell he
at
makes
worst.
it to. What's that?
He can't. He literally can't move on because the Bears don't have a chance at him.
Yeah, so it's
like I mean, everyone who's listened to anything, if it's ESPN, NFL Network, the McShay Show, whatever it is, you listen, whatever your drink of choice is when you listen to this stuff for the NFL draft. Because if you're a sicko like us and pay any attention to this, you know who Arvell Reese is.
Sure
do you guys want to know who my comp before we inevitably just move Anthony Hill on because there's nothing to be said about Arvell Reese? Do you guys actually want to hear my comp for him when I was watching him? Everyone wants to go to the whole like Micah Parsons way, and I just don't see him as good as a pass rusher. What do I see? I see idealized, souped up. Oh my God, I just lost his name. From Jamie Collins.
That's so funny you mentioned that.
Think about the Patriots, right? Jamie was. Oh yeah, he was a great football player. He offered pass rush, but he was an off-ball linebacker.
Yeah.
Now take his traits that were all 8 or 9 and just put them all at 10.
Yeah. Well, that's what. Yeah. Roosevelt Colvin. I think he was a little more. I mean, that's 25 years ago, Roosevelt. But he was another guy.
This is I watched him and I watched him with the pass rush snaps and I watched him play off-ball linebacker, and it's like this guy's not like the best quote unquote linebacker on the team. He's the best football player on the team. Because there's nothing he can't do. But this guy's like the most just steroided out version of Jamie Collins I could ever imagine.
Yeah, it was.
And that's what I think he is. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe he does transition to edge full time. I don't want to see him do that. I genuinely don't. I feel like you'd be taking away a special player from us.
I agree.
But
I would like to see him do a mix, like on certain instances. Maybe if it's a key third down or you just want to like dial something up to be crazy and you throw him off the edge and let him rush. But I agree with you. I think letting him do both consistently, unlike Micah Parsons, who has completely just transitioned to a traditional edge player, I think that's the best case situation for Arvell.
But that's what Jamie Collins was when he was at his best with
I agree.
Wood.
Yes, yeah. I agree. That's a wild comparison. That's a name I haven't heard in hot minute, but I thoroughly enjoy.
See, this is why I'm here, because I'm a linebacker sicko.
But I agree, though.
I remember Jamie Collins. I remember, that was an interesting pull. Like, I remember Jamie Collins.
Number 91, right?
Yeah. Look at you, huh?
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm trying to remember. So last year was Jalen Walker was kind of this Arvell Reese role, was like the linebacker who rushed the passer.
Just nowhere near the player, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Arvell Reese is like 10 times the linebacker that Jalen Walker was. And I think they're about equal in terms of pass rush. And Walker went, 14 or 15 to the Falcons, and then they kind of didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah.
They had no clue how to use him or what to do with him. Or I mean, he was still effective, but
I was just saying he still had a great season.
Yeah.
And then James Pierce decided he didn't want to play football anymore.
Yeah, he decided to go beat up his girlfriend or whatever. But like, I live in Atlanta. I hear all about all my friends at work or every day. So
it's funny you say that, Nick. I have cousins that live in Atlanta, but the only cousin that genuinely cares about football is a diehard Bears fan. So I don't get any of the Falcons scoop.
Oh, dude, you wouldn't get it anyway. Like there are so few. Like down here, it is 100%.
It's Bulldog territory.
Yeah,
it's Bulldog
Georgia
territory.
Go Dogs, baby. Yes, sir. Go Dogs. It is hardcore dog territory.
The Alabama people, it's all SEC down here. The Falcons fans are like, they exist, but it's a much more passive fan base. I think they're all about the vibes. Like
they're more niche.
They're all about the vibe.
All about, they're just like, man, I just want to go do the dirty bird and drink some brewskis for like $4 at Mercedes-Benz or whatever, like the concession stand is.
And if you're gonna go to the game and you're looking for Chick-fil-A, you have to go when they play either on Monday night or Thursday night because it's not open on Sunday.
That's right, it's not open on Sunday. But yeah, it's the Falcons took Jalen Walker and then they took James Pierce and. I think Arvell Reese, I agree with you, Ron. I don't think he's the same sort of level of pass rusher that Micah Parsons was. I don't even know if I'd say he's the same level of pass rusher as Abdul Carter last year, maybe slightly.
Good point.
Maybe.
But those are edge defense.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. Yeah. Like I sometimes think he gets compared to those guys as if that's what his long-term. I mean, he's a much better linebacker than those guys.
Yeah.
I think he said at the combine, they asked him, he considered himself a weak side linebacker / edge. So I think he looks at himself more as like.
We just need the Laramie Tunsil video.
Yeah.
The gas
Arvell
mask.
Yeah. I was so pissed the Bears passed on him.
Oh, I think we've spent enough time on this specific matchup.
Agreed. I think Anthony Hill needs to move on just from the sheer standpoint of the Bears are going to have no chance at Arvell Reese as much as we like the player.
Yes. Arvell Reese is spectacular. I have him, I think, as the third best player in this class.
Yeah. Agreed.
Just
agreed.
Whatever.
Now this one's my favorite because Danny, you and I were
oh no, you're really gonna do this to me.
We're fun guests on Bare Bones with yourself and Mr. Mason West. Q loves it. Mr. Rodriguez,
Dr. Mason West, you son of a bitch.
Dr. Mason West. I love Mr. Rodriguez. I know you love Mr. Rodriguez just as much.
Just
that guy's a ball player, man.
Inject him into my veins. Pause.
Got a sweet
that
mustache.
Guy, he's got a sweet mustache. He's got his wife is like a Black Hawk fighter pilot or something.
She's a Black Hawk helicopter pilot. She's crazy. Electric stuff.
He has got some of, if not the best instincts at the linebacker position in this draft. It's not even close. He just knows what's happening. He's just, when you idealize what a linebacker should play like, it's him. He's always around the ball. Some guys have ball like skills. He's just got ball talent. The ball is always there, no matter what. He's always right there. Forced fumbles, interceptions, pass breakups. Jacob Rodriguez, if I had to quibble, he's a little bit smaller than I'd like. He's 6'1", 236 pounds or something like that.
Sure.
He tested well. I don't think he moves on tape as well as the testing would show. That's a personal opinion. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm right on that. But I don't know. At this point, I genuinely believe if the Bears want a shot at Rodriguez, you're taking him at 25. That's just the nature of where we've gotten to and how far his stock has come up. Like, he's a top 45 player, top 50
he was
player.
Up for the Heisman, or he should have been. Like, there was Heisman chatter about him.
Yeah, he was a Heisman finalist.
Like, as an off-ball linebacker.
That guy is such a phenomenal football player. And I'm on record as saying the defense in College Station, not College Station, Lubbock, was built through and around Lee Hunter. Everything they did was built through what he could do. Jacob Rodriguez is a close second, though, and that guy is just such a fabulous, fantastic linebacker. I want him in Chicago like nothing else in this world. I just don't think it's possible anymore. I think his stock has risen too high. I remember he was the first player in this draft process for linebackers I watched. And after one half of one game, I texted Q and I was like, what the hell are you hiding from me? And he's like, I knew it.
I love, Danny, that I've gotten to hear that story 3 times now. Between the first Bare Bones mock draft you guys did, the second one with you and I, as well as special guests, and now here. And because I agree, I think his instincts is what makes him the most fascinating player. Like, to me, he's not the greatest athlete on the face of the planet. He's not the best at everything, but his IQ and his instincts for playing the linebacking position takes all of his what would be good or average traits up to good or great traits. Because of how the way you watch him, as soon as the ball's snapped, he knows where the ball's going. It's immediate. It's that instinct that you talked about a little bit earlier with like players like Luke Kuechly and the great linebackers of the early 2010s and the late 2000s that we all collectively kind of grew up with and got to really know well. Guys who just, they see it, they know it, and they are already moving as the ball's being snapped to exactly where the football is going because they just know. They are so genuinely into it in terms of their IQ. And that's to me what stands out most about a player like Rodriguez.
Yeah, it's palpable. It's palpable, is what it is.
Yeah, I think if there was one defensive player Ben Johnson would pound the table for, it'd be Jacob Rodriguez, because he played offense. I think he was a quarterback. I think he played quarterback, right?
He was a dual threat quarterback coming out of high school, and he went to Virginia Tech. I think Tech.
Yeah.
Q, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was Tech.
You see it in his tape.
Yeah.
And like just the cerebral aspect.
And I think that's such a trait that, especially for middle linebacker, which I don't think the Bears have a long-term solution on the roster right now, because I think TJ Edwards might be here one more year and then he's gone. I think this is a guy that
see TJ Edwards ever play another snap.
That wouldn't surprise me. Like especially if they could get a guy like Rodriguez, because I do think he's a plug and play. And I've seen the same chatter about undersized, and then him and CJ Allen are literally the exact same height and weight. So like, you wouldn't think that, look at it, you would think there's a discrepancy there, but if you look at their measurables, are identical. And I don't know, maybe it's just CJ Allen seems like a longer strider. I really like, I just think the way they're building their roster, they want these guys who are just going to ooze this sort of like football acumen. And I think the defense, I think it was very telling last year when like the first thing Dennis Allen did was move Tremaine Edmonds to weak side and put TJ Edwards at Mike. Because I know when they brought those two guys in, it was, we're trying to rebuild Urlacher and Briggs. And Dennis Allen came in and said, I want the guy that's more cerebral as my Mike, and I'll put this 6'4" athletic guy as my weak, and just live with it. And he played well, to his credit, but I think
for
Rodriguez,
4 weeks.
yeah. But I think when you're talking about the ball skills, the ability to generate turnovers, I mean, I think it'll be curious how that translates to the NFL, because I do think that's one area where, sometimes he goes for the ball, and I'm sure NFL coaches will drill into his head, wrap up first.
I know we're harping on the ball skills, but he's sure-handed. You don't get past him. He wraps you up and drags you down. Like, and I know a lot of times we as fans, we fall in love with the kill shot. Just being able to bring the guy freaking down matters.
Dude,
just
wrap him up,
tackle.
finish the hit, and make the tackle. Live to fight. Like, I think a lot of fans don't understand the value of living to fight another down. Like, just get to the next play.
Or just eliminating that junk yardage.
Yeah, like you stopped him for 4. Cool. Next play.
Yeah.
Like it's not sexy, but it matters.
Yeah.
Well put.
And I like Jay Golday, but I think we set our piece on him.
I think we're moving on here.
Like,
hey, Jay, thanks for playing.
Yeah, I mean, you hear a fun story. I think we all learned how to pronounce Namdi's name thanks to you, Jay, because you're up against him. But yeah, I mean, it is interesting if you compare Jake Golday and Jacob Rodriguez, because they're both like physical, like they're ends of the physical spectrum. But it's a great case study, because if you want to see a player who does not waste movement and has a great first step, I think that's where Jacob Rodriguez, even though he's like 3 inches, 3 inches shorter, you can see where you see a younger linebacker like Golday kind of waste steps in his movement and maybe not cover as much ground as you think. A guy like Jacob Rodriguez is just so instinctual and smart. He just knows where to be as the play is developing, and it covers up a lot of his maybe physical limitations that you might see on paper.
Nick, thank you for the way you just put that, because I think that's spectacular in the sense of the no wasted movement, the first step, just the little things that the common football fan does not.
There's no false movements.
Yeah,
everything's intentional. Yes, everything's intentional. Yeah. It's technically sound, and that's what you have to be in football. Q can attest to this. We do our O-line show throughout the course of the regular season. Technicality in football is the most important thing. If you are a technician, you can make a career for yourself, even if you're not the best athlete.
Yeah.
You know what he is? He's teach tape. You want to play linebacker?
Yes.
This is how you play.
This guy. Yeah. Throw it on the big board and just let the tape wind. And that's like, exactly
be him.
Yeah. Yeah. Do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well put. On to our 3 versus 11 matchup. CJ Allen, Danny, I know you feel like you've talked a lot, but I want to hear the hate for CJ Allen to start this thing off.
It's not even hate. I just feel like the world is higher on him than me, and I don't get why. He's not a good coverage line. He's very much, in terms of playing to what I enjoy to watch play linebacker, it's him. He's thunderous. He's downhill. He's really like, I personally would hesitate to say tackle to tackle or sideline to sideline. I think he's really where his money is made is guard to guard.
Yep.
Like just I'm gonna kill you. And that you hold a special place in my heart. But the way people are talking about him, it's like, am I watching a different player? Like did someone take my CJ Allen film from me and just say, this is not the real CJ Allen? You are getting a different one at UGA. This is not the CJ you're looking for. Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting because I know Anthony Hill didn't make it past, he did make it past. I mean, I know in theory he wouldn't have made it past Arvell Reese, but Anthony Hill, if you put on tape of Anthony Hill and you put on tape of CJ Allen, I think they're very similar players, and Anthony Hill has better coverage instincts. I feel like
coverage ability. He runs better.
Yeah,
he just runs better.
Athlete. Yeah.
He's longer. I think CJ Allen. I really think. I mean, he can take on a guard and blow up a guard. You know, and that's probably why people fall in love with him. Is maybe they're just not used to seeing that downhill thumper that they used to, and maybe they're just falling in love with that because he is a great run defender. But yeah, I mean, I see this guy getting taken. You know, I think the Cowboys have been a popular spot for him, and they're at 20 or 21 or something. And
I feel like but I feel like, to your point with the Cowboys, I feel like they would pick on him. I feel like they would be like, he's the Mike, kill him, make him turn and run, make him, because what's the best he can do? Maybe spot drop in zone. I don't see him being able to carry anybody. No. Like I can't. Like, he's a good athlete, but I don't think he's a turn and run athlete. He's a forward click and close athlete, and there's nothing wrong with being that. But the reason I think, and people, like, to next point, people bring up the fact that he comes with thunder and he doesn't waste movement in the run game, and he understands where he's going. He sifts through the garbage. He does a lot of stuff well, but he does a lot of stuff not well. And the way people justify it is by saying he's the green dot. He's a tremendous leader. He's a 2-time captain or whatever at UGA. All those things are great. Does it make him able to get out in space? And I don't think it does.
Yeah. And I'm in agreement with that, because I look at CJ Allen, and especially when it comes to Georgia, I look at their linebackers. You think of the Nakobe Deans and those type of players. Those guys were physical, athletic freaks. And that was the kind of the height of what I'll call the Georgia, dog pound defense, right? That was the height of those guys. Yes, exactly. The guys that were freak athletes in space, because it allowed Georgia because again, you got to remember, Georgia plays kind of that true like 3-4 defense still.
They had that weird gap in the half team. Yeah, they do that.
Yeah, they do a lot of that stuff still. So their linebackers, like, if you can take, like, to me, their inside linebackers, I look in still the same way that like a traditional 3-4 would be played in terms of their inside linebackers.
Yeah,
these guys are downhill guys, and if you can cover in those short middle parts of the field, that's when Georgia's at their best, because they can take away things, and then they always have ball hawking safeties and really solid corners that do the rest on the outside. To me, Allen strikes me as like, and this is not a 1-for-1, but I'm thinking in sense of the role that he plays. He's like the James Ferrier to the old Pittsburgh Steelers defenses.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's downhill. It's like, I don't remember James Ferrier dropping back in coverage and picking off passes. No, that's what James Harrison and Joey Porter and all those guys were for.
Yeah, like Patrick Queen
Larry
or
Foote.
Like that.
Larry Foote.
With Larry Foote.
Yeah.
Like, to me, he is the prototypical, I am going to be your guy in the downhill. I'll stop the run. We're good there. But if you need me to do anything more in pass pro than like 5 to 10 yards outside of where I start from the snap of the ball, we're screwed. Well, to me, that I agree with you guys. Like, I think the world values. I like that we're all in the same boat, and I'll be hands up. 3 of my 4 cousins that live in Atlanta went to the University of Georgia. I root for the Dogs very actively.
My wife went there, so I hear about them all the time.
I don't like CJ Allen as much as most people do. I valued Nakobe Dean and far other Georgia linebackers well above CJ Allen.
He's a great, better football player. Nakobe Dean only fell because he had a trick knee.
Right.
Like,
agreed.
I think your point is great. Like I was just gonna say he is like he would be like a tailor-made 3-4 inside linebacker that you can kind of hide his limitations with better athletes around him. I don't know where that, I don't know what team would, look at, because I've seen him as this 4-3 middle linebacker, but with the inability to really just drop into space and cover and carry a tight end, it's tough to project him. And I mean,
could you see him in like the Chargers where Derwin James can kind of cover some of the issues because Derwin is a freak, and then you can just let him, like we've seen a version of it before where Denzel Perriman, who's a dipshit in coverage, like has worked in Charger land because Derwin James is just a mutant.
That's what it would take, though. I mean, that's kind of what you would need, one of these like really rangy like safeties that can just
Kobe Bryant is here, my friend. Don't you worry.
I mean, but you say that, but like that could be their logic behind it. If he's there at 25, I don't
want to take CJ. Do you know what? I will throw my computer if CJ Allen's to pick at 25.
Oh, it would be because it would be such a.
It'd be a justification of what you're trying to replace.
Yeah,
and you'd be hinging so much on the fact that he's the leader at Georgia. And coaches, I get it. They love leadership, and they love captains, and they love these guys that are the dot. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely like inflate his. I know that I think there was a report that he called the plays at Georgia, like the defensive plays, like didn't just relay them, but not just relay them, like call the plays.
I didn't see that.
Like called the defense.
Yeah, like which I don't know if I buy that fully.
That would make him Kirby dumb, not Kirby smart.
Yeah, yeah. But I think if you're looking at him as purely like what he brings to the football field, like again, I think you could find that same skill set in free agency. If you need a linebacker that can come downhill and plug run lanes and hit run fits and not cover tight ends, you could probably go sign Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner might be able to do a little better. Like, I mean, it's just
there's guys there.
Yeah, there's guys.
So for sake of the hilarity of this, can we move Bryce Boucher?
Yeah, let's just keep him going.
That's keep hysterical.
Because you know what? Like they're gonna have to take him at 25, CJ Allen, because I feel like maybe he'll fall.
He's not getting to 57. He's not getting.
Yeah, he's not gonna get to the second round. So.
Yep, I agree. And now, we've talked a little bit about Kyle Lewis. Guys, Sonny Styles is like up there with Arvell Reese. Like this linebacking core at Ohio State was crazy.
This dude is the closest thing I think I've ever seen to Brian Urlacher in terms of what he can do.
Yes.
I say that very, very lightly because Urlacher's a one of one. He's a unicorn, just like Ray Lewis was, just like all these guys who you see that go to the Hall of Fame on their first ballot are. But Sonny Styles is 6'4". He's 250 pounds. He's running like a gazelle. He's not lost when he plays. He comes downhill. He clicks and closes. He gets through the garbage. He can pick up. He's not just a spot drop coverage guy, as he should not be, being a converted safety. If I had to like nitpick sometimes he's sometimes more see it, do it versus reacting and just playing off instinct, but that's because linebacker is new to him.
Yeah.
But the guy's one of the 5 best players in this class comfortably, and that's like absurd to me for an off-ball linebacker. Now it speaks to the crappiness of the rest of the class. Let's not bury the lead there. But
100%.
But he is a astoundingly good off-ball linebacker prospect. Like he is a better off-ball linebacker prospect than Arvell Reese is, but Arvell Reese is a better football player. I know they said that before, but yeah, Sonny Styles is the man.
Yeah, it's. I thought the same thing. Like the poetry of him being a converted safety, being a linebacker, the Brian Urlacher comps. And I think we've seen a few players that try to get, I think people think of that like unicorn athlete. I know Tremaine Edmonds, when he came out,
Tremaine Edmonds had it famously on the NFL network, on the NFL combine thing. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, Sonny Styles is just, for a guy who's played linebacker like 2 years, I think he reduced his missed tackle rate from like, I don't know, maybe Q can check, but I think it went from like 17% to like 2%. Like it was some insane improvement from year to year, and he's just getting better. Like the Bears don't have a chance.
How much did his ability did his ability to do that allow them to deploy Arvell Reese the way they wanted
exactly.
to?
Yeah. He made up for a lot of those deficiencies when they did want to do creative shit with Reese. 100%.
Yeah, and just the coverage instincts are just off the charts. But I mean,
okay, we're moving Kyle Lewis on. Sonny Styles is awesome. The Bears don't have a chance.
Yeah, we love Sonny Styles. The no chance he gets to 25 Q. You could add that there. That would be spectacular, because
what a hilarious bracket this is going to be.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if you play in an IDP league that like drafts all rookies type thing, like Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles are.
Well, here's a quick question. We don't have to dwell on it too much because I know neither one. But like, let's just say in some weird world, Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese dropped to 25. Who would you take for the Bears?
Sonny Styles.
Who'd you take, Danny?
Sonny Styles. So that's Sonny Styles.
I think I'd be in the same boat. I just think with what he offers,
I don't think what Dennis Allen wants to do defensively would allow Arvell to do what he would allow Arvell to do what would make him special.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, he's not one to like move guys around. Like, he just seems like a.
I think Dennis Allen is a wizard. I think Dennis Allen is a tremendous play caller. He's not out here deploying players in multiple sets at linebacker. Defensive back, yes, he'll put your ass at 3 different spots throughout the course of a drive.
Yeah,
but he's not. Oh yeah, here's your stat. Styles miss percentage dropped from 18.4 in 2020.
Pretty close there, Nick.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, I mean that is for a guy that never played linebacker and did it only because Kaleb Downs came in and he was like, I guess I'll be the linebacker.
Crazy.
This might be the hardest conversation we have at the top.
Anthony Hill versus Jacob Rodriguez.
We should just move on to the next round.
Can that just be the final? Is that allowed? Can we get an official ruling on that?
No, you're not allowed at that. We have to have the conversation.
All right, let's have it.
March Madness, it happens. Like,
let's let it rip.
I guess the conversation begins and ends with: are you okay with an off-ball linebacker at 25?
I'm fine with it. I
don't know that I'm the linebacker guy, and I don't know that I am.
Well, see, it would depend. Like, it depend which safeties are on the board and which D linemen are on the board. I mean, the board would have to be.
I mean, do we really think Jacob Rodriguez is going in the first round?
He could be a trade back. I mean, maybe they could trade back from 25 and get
who's trading up. Who's trading up, and what are they trading up for?
Somebody will inevitably have. Somebody gets desperate enough.
Someone's gonna love Ty Simpson and his 7 starts. Here he comes.
Hell yeah! Somebody will. Hey, Danny, you discredit the NFL. Somebody will.
I mean. I don't know. It would be maybe one of the receivers slips. I don't know.
Maybe Tyson slips because of the injury.
Jordan Tyson was the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, it's but yeah, I would be fine taking, like, in theory, an off-ball linebacker. I don't know.
It's a tough sell.
I would be fine.
How far back are you willing?
Like 33 to like 45. Is where I would take Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could the Bears trade up from 7 to the top 40?
Yeah.
Are you willing to give up 27? Are you willing to give up premium capital in what will be probably a historically great 27 draft?
Yeah. Well, this is what pisses me off about I'm not getting any comp picks for Ian Cunningham, because you could have easily used one of those plus 1 seconds.
Throw that 3 to the sun to move up. Absolutely.
Because I just feel like that,
See, I don't want them to move up. They need the picks. They just the defense is so dormant of talent.
Yeah, and it's a deep class where you can get talent later. That's gonna help.
You guys aren't motivated by Dio Engadengo being motivated.
And
dang,
no.
Yeah. And no, I definitely think the way they're positioning themselves in free agency, like they're just gonna attack the defensive line.
I think de facto, as much as I believe they'll love Rodriguez, I think we're gonna be forced into moving Anthony Hill on.
I agree. Because I think Anthony Hill has the better chance of being actually there.
Being there. And I don't see a realm in which Rodriguez is going to be a logical fit, as much as he is my ideal outcome for the Bears at linebacker in this draft.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the hype of Jacob Rodriguez is what has killed his chances to go to the Bears.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. And Anthony Hill's a little underhyped. I feel like Anthony Hill's a little underrated at the moment. Like
I agree with that.
I agree. I agree. Like I said, I think he reminds me of Pete Werner, and Pete Werner was a easy second round pick. The way he plays, how he moves, even like the deficiencies. The guy is like, this reminds me of number 20 wearing the Ohio State colors.
Yeah.
Like this it's uncanny. And it's not, I'm not perfect at these comps, but this is just, it's literally like I watched a game and I'm like, this guy looks like Pete Werner in Columbus. How he plays.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do think his length, I like his length. Like I said, I had him, I know CJ Allen gets all the pub, but I was like, Anthony Hill to me seems like a bet, maybe it's one of those things where you have to trust your eyes and just be like, I think this guy covers a lot of the, profiles.
What if you were unsure a player has eyes like Deontae Lawson?
Hey, we have to get one more on him before the show's over. One more jab.
One more jab. One more jab. One more jab.
Deontae Lawson is going to hunt me down and beat me up.
Him and Justin Jefferson. It's going to be like that meme of them, Mark Cuban driving around looking for Deontay Jordan or whatever it was. Oh, Bobby Wagner. All right, there's a good one.
Okay, so I think actually Bocher and Luce. Ew. What? Oh, okay. Have fun with your comps. Sure. Yeah. Here's an all-time great linebacker. Compare this second or third round prospect to this all-time great linebacker.
Yeah. That's always fun.
That's always fun.
I think they have to bring up these guys that people are like name recognition.
They have to bring up name recognition because I'll tell you what, gentlemen, we were talking about the Lindy Sports thing earlier. Can I read you just a quick comp here? I'm not going to read the whole shebang. I just want to read you the comp that some of these guys are getting. So a great example here is Anthony Hill, right? His pro comp is Ryan Shazier.
Okay.
What?
But in fairness, not so much about the comp, but like to us who have watched football at a sicko level for 2-3 decades, we know Ryan Shazier. The common football fans, like, who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah.
And that's probably the most like notable one that exists in this. There's guys that I have even heard of that are the pro comps for some of these guys. So I think a lot of these analysts have to feel like they got to try to identify it with somebody that most fans know. Otherwise, it's just going to fly right over their head and hit the back of the wall.
Yeah. Because Pete Werner's a great comp. People will be like, did Fred Warner change his name? Like what?
Yeah.
What? Who's
a guy in New Orleans? They have a team? Really? Are we sure?
They have one of those? Point taken. I guess I assume specifically.
No, I totally agree.
Bryce
into the show, you're probably
on. Is that what I'm gathering?
Damn it! What? How did we get here?
How did we get here?
It was a fun ride.
You know how we got here? Hold on, I'm putting him on the screen. This guy. That's how we got here.
Yeah. Could have been Justin Jefferson. Should have been Justin Jefferson.
So can we just maybe before we move on to the final? I agree it's probably Bocher moving on, just given what we know Allen would like theoretically out of his mic. I don't think you can pair tiny little Devin Bush with tiny little Kyle Lewis. Just objectively, that's a recipe of just here's here's your 2 and 3 tight end sets. Get off the field.
Good luck going against Detroit twice a year and Tucker
Have
Kraft
fun.
and
seriously. So here's what I'll say. I have a higher grade outright on Kyle Lewis. I love Bryce Boucher as a player. Kyle Lewis, to me, is a better football player. But I don't think I can reconcile moving Kyle Lewis on in this specific matchup, given what we know, and given that I just don't think you can put 2 tiny linebackers on the same, especially because they'd be your Will and your Mike, respectively, right?
I agree.
And you just can't do that.
No.
Yeah, that would be a wild. That would be. I almost want him to do it just so I can hear the rationale behind it. Well, we're playing Kyler Murray. He's short, so maybe. You know.
And this just got really interesting and really hard.
Did it though?
I haven't heard that since my honeymoon.
I guess it did. Because I think to Nick, I think to Nick's earlier point, what are you doing with Devin Bush? Because to me, that completely determines the outcome of this.
Yeah. If you're playing him at the Will, I think it's Boucher. I think if you're playing him at the Mike, it's Hill.
What did he play in Cleveland? Was he mostly a Will? And I'm assuming was an inside linebacker with Pittsburgh, but they ran a 3-4.
With Pitt, he was I think he was what would be considered the jack in the 3-4.
Okay.
Because it's Will, right? Memory serves 34. Your 2 inside backers of the jack and the Mike. I think he was
Mike
the jack.
And Jack. Yeah, because Jack is a terminology that the Arena League adopted, and it was It was the weak side, quote unquote, middle linebacker.
Well, a linebacker. So he was the jack. So he's been a Will almost his whole. I just don't think you're paying $10 million a year for this guy that's not going to call plays, and then you're going to be putting DeMarco. Even are you going to let DeMarco call plays? I'm not.
He knows the system. He spent 2 years with DA.
I don't give a damn.
Their
DA probably gives a damn. But
like their linebacker room sucks. Yeah, like it is a problem. Like I know they're reshaping it and everything, but it's like
TJ Edwards is going to be in his air cast calling plays.
Like I was trying to remember at this point. After they traded Roquan, it was Jack Sanborn. That was his rookie year, right? And then who else was playing linebacker that year? Because I'm sure I'm forgetting, but it reminds me of that. I mean,
you don't want to remember.
Yeah, like I mean, Devin Bush is far and away better than anyone the Bears had that year. But it's just when you look at the actual play, I'm like, you've got TJ Edwards whose foot is pointing east right now. You've got DeMarco Jackson, who I think he was a nice story. I always worry about guys like that. Like you never know if it's a flash in the pan or if there's.
I still think he's a rotational linebacker, and he's being paid as such.
Yeah, so I think that's how the Bears view him. I don't think they have any bigger plans. And then you've got Ruben Hippolyte, who I don't know what he's going to end up doing for the team. Like I don't know if they have any optimism about him or if that's just we're just going to hold on to this guy and hope he can be a special teamer. I think I'm forgetting someone else. Like Noah Sewell, who tore his Achilles. So I don't know if you can even count on him to return. So it's a tough room.
Are you gentlemen ready for the names of that 2022 Bears room at linebacker once they traded?
Please don't.
Roquan. Oh, I'm going to. The first one is the most notable name, and this is a blast from the past. Nicholas Morrow.
Okay.
But then the other two names are Joe Thomas and Matthew Adams.
I mean, oh my God. I remember Matt Adams was I think he was the chief, right? Matt Adams?
Yeah, I believe so. I think he was a chief. I think you're right.
Yeah. They're very generic names.
Those are dark days. Dark days in the world of Bears.
So we've broken these players down a lot. Are we having Boucher win because we're probably in agreement based on his past and what they're asking Devin Bush to probably do, that they're gonna go more Mike with this? Theoretically,
that's the direction I think they're gonna go. I think that they were, and I think Bocher would tie in with if I'm looking at all these names and where I actually think the Bears are going to draft a linebacker, that probably is the most likely. I just don't see him spending
probably round 4.
Yeah, Howie R. Bears earlier said no LB till round 5.
Yeah, I don't see him spending a top 90 pick. Yeah. I don't think they can afford to. They got to. I mean, I don't know.
Are we all cool with that? I think Hill is a better football player, but as I'm sitting here really working through my thoughts, I think in this scenario it might be Bocher because everywhere that he's been, Schlesinger has been like Schlesinger was the Mike.
Yeah.
In Pittsburgh he was the Jack.
Yep.
He's never been the Mike.
Q, how do you feel about this? That your diabolical plan got us to the end.
Reap what you've sown, Q.
I love it. But if you guys, I haven't watched any Anthony Hill. If you guys are telling me you don't think he's a Mike fit, I think this is an easy choice.
I think he could.
I don't think he's a Mike fit. I agree.
Yeah. I don't think he's a Mike at all. I think he's a Will. I think he's pure Will.
Yeah, I agree. I think he could be. I think he's a Will.
Do you understand when Bryce Bocher gets taken by the Bears in the 4th round? The amount of shit that we're gonna have to deal with.
Oh,
for like good and bad reasons. Everybody's gonna be like, "Holy shit, you weirdos called it!" But like, what the fuck? Like,
well, like, I mean, I think all of us would want Jacob Rodriguez if we had our druthers. Like,
1,000%.
I think that's like.
1,000%.
I just don't think he's logical anymore.
Yeah,
he's not a logical outcome.
His hype has outplayed the logic of him being there for the Bears.
Yeah, I think. If we're
unbelievable. I pounded the table in the first round after him just being thrown to me, and he just wins the fucking bracket. What is this nonsense?
That's why Q's on screen right now.
I think we should all thank Justin Jefferson, if we're being honest.
Yeah,
such a bad prospect that he elevated a better one.
It's all Justin Jefferson's fault. It's all Justin.
No, but I know people are going to look at this and be like, "How can you have Bryce Boecher winning?" And I just want my logic. I'm sure it's similar to you guys. Is I don't think they're going to spend a top 100 pick on a linebacker. I mean, they could, but it would have to be someone who slipped massively.
I could see him spending like 90 on but
yeah, I think that they're going to look for a middle linebacker, and some of the guys that are going to be in that
end of round 3. It's not like an unjustifiable pick.
Yeah. Right. So I think when you consider like
really, and sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say when you consider all the variables in the context of the Bears, I think that's why you have Bryce Boecher winning. Because I mean, we could have redone this whole bracket and really just had like round 4 or 5 guys on there, but it would have been really getting in the weeds of like some lesser prospects. I mean, this is good because I don't think this is indicative of Bryce Boecher being better than even half of these players. But when you're talking about the Bears, this is probably the best fit considering everything else.
Yeah.
Well, even when you consider what he's always wanted at Mike, he's kind of right in that wheelhouse. I know Q's got a lot of the metrics and stuff, but even down to his build, how he plays, the fact that he's this really bright kid, like he kind of lines up, and I never really looked at him that hard, that in that light. I was just kind of watching linebackers, and then like it just kind of made sense as it was coming along.
It just kind of happened.
Let me bring up another 4th round linebacker as someone who did not watch a lot of Bryce Boecher, so I could be totally off. I just want to get when I think of like these, like another 4th round linebacker that came to mind is Nick Kwiatkowski. Is he anyway similar to that type of player? Like,
I think that was the guy who kind of just a bat out of hell coming out of
better. Okay, yeah, because I remember there was that year where you had Gerald Freeman and Nick Kwiatkowski, and it was like he was a 4th rounder, and it was like, oh, this guy might be able to play a little bit. And he played for 6 or 7 years, but
he had a good career.
Yeah, like
he had a nice career.
So I don't know. Boecher could be a similar story, or if he profiles similarly to Kwiatkowski, but just another 4th round linebacker that came to my mind. And Ruben Hippolyte, 4th round. Hey.
Well, God, I think that pretty much does it, gentlemen, though, when it comes to linebackers. This was a juicy one.
This was a good one.
we've got some more positions to talk about on the on another show this evening even. So if you're tuning in, stay with us. It's gonna be a nice. It's a party on a Tuesday. Turning up on a Tuesday. Q, can you break this down for us since you're on camera here with us?
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching, listening, for hanging. Excuse me, hanging through us through the bracket as we get Bryce Boecher.
Potato.
Yeah.
Winning the linebacker bracket here, like ultimate underdog upset, Cinderella story. Watch for the Bears to draft Bryce Boecher, and
it's gonna happen too.
We will be back shortly with our running back episode. Thanks, guys.